Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of 1,000 things you cannot change? Like the world keeps spinning in directions you never asked for, and no matter how hard you try, nothing bends to your will. You replay conversations in your mind, rewriting what you said. You imagine different outcomes, better versions of yesterday. But the past doesn't rewind. It just sits there, untouched by your worry. This is the mind that hasn't learned the lesson yet. The lesson Epictetus taught 2,000 years ago, that some things are up to us and some things are not. But we don't see the difference. We treat everything like it's within our grasp. We exhaust ourselves trying to control the weather, the traffic, other people's thoughts. We fight invisible battles we were never meant to win. Epictetus said there are things within our control and things beyond it. Your thoughts, your choices, your responses, these are yours. Everything else belongs to the world, not to you. But we blur the line constantly. We think if we worry enough, we can prevent disaster. If we plan enough, we can guarantee success. If we care enough, we can change someone's heart. And when it doesn't work, we don't question the strategy. We just try harder. We grip tighter. We lose sleep over things that were never in our hands to begin with. This is exhaustion by design. You're pouring energy into a vessel with no bottom. Every ounce of effort disappears into the void because you're trying to control what cannot be controlled. Epictetus was once a slave. He knew powerlessness intimately. Yet he found freedom in chains, not by controlling his circumstances, but by controlling his mind, his will, his interpretation. He said the only prison is the one you build in your own mind. When you demand the world to be different than it is. When you resist reality instead of working with it. So what happens when you finally see the line? When you stop trying to control other people's opinions? When you stop replaying the past? When you stop demanding guarantees about the future? Something strange happens. The weight lifts. Not because your problems disappeared, but because you stopped carrying problems that were never yours. You put down what you were never meant to hold. You realize you've been fighting the ocean, demanding it stop making waves, angry at the tide for not asking your permission, but the ocean doesn't care. It never did. Epictetus taught that we suffer not because of events, but because of our judgments about events. The story we tell ourselves, the meaning we assign, the resistance we create. Someone cuts you off in traffic. The event is neutral, but you make it personal. You create a villain. You write a story about disrespect, and then you suffer from your own narrative. What if you didn't? What if you saw it as just a thing that happened? No story, no meaning, just a car changing lanes. Would you still be angry, or would you just continue driving? This is the practice, separating what happened from what you think it means. The event from the interpretation. The reality from the story. It sounds simple, but it's the hardest work there is. Because we love our stories, they make us feel important. Wronged, justified, special. Giving them up feels like losing part of yourself. But you're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself underneath the noise. Epictetus said we're like actors in a play. We didn't choose the role, we didn't write the script, but we can choose how we perform, with dignity, with presence, with acceptance. You can't control if it rains on your wedding day, but you can control whether you dance in the rain or spend the day mourning the sun. The weather doesn't care, but your experience depends entirely on your choice. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control the weather. They check the forecast obsessively, they curse the clouds, they blame the sky, and they never learn to dance. The dichotomy of control is not about passivity. It's not about giving up. It's about directing your power where it actually works, where you can actually make a difference. In your own mind, your own actions. You can't control if someone loves you back, but you can control how you treat them. You can't control if you get the job, but you can control how well you prepare. You can't control the outcome, only the effort. Epictetus said when you wake up, remind yourself, today I will meet people who are ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest. But I will not be disturbed, because I know what I can control and what I cannot. This isn't cold detachment, it's warm acceptance. You care about people. You care about outcomes, but you don't let things beyond your control steal your peace. You don't give them that power. Think about the last time you were truly anxious. What were you worried about? Probably something that hadn't happened yet. Probably something you couldn't control. A future you were trying to write before it arrived. Epictetus would ask, is it happening now? No. Can you control it? No. Then why are you suffering? You're tormenting yourself with imagination. You're living in a future that doesn't exist. You're fighting ghosts. Come back to now. What can you actually do right now? Maybe nothing. Maybe something small. But that small thing is real. The rest is smoke, and you can't punch smoke. You can only exhaust yourself trying. The people who seem unshakable aren't lucky. They're not numb. They've just drawn the line clearly. They know where their responsibility ends and where the world's begins. They're not carrying your chaos or anyone else's. You see them in crisis and wonder how they stay calm. It's not magic, it's practice. They've trained themselves to ask, can I control this? If yes, act. If no, accept. That's it. That's the whole system. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what's happening. It means you stop arguing with reality. You stop wishing things were different. You work with what is, not with what you wish it was. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish, because you'll stop performing for others. You'll stop trying to control their perception. You'll stop exhausting yourself with image management. How much energy do you spend managing what people think? Crafting the perfect response, curating the perfect image, worrying about their judgment. That's energy stolen from your actual life, from what you can actually control. Let them think what they think. You can't control it anyway. You can be kind. You can be honest. You can be yourself. But you can't reach into their mind, and you shouldn't try. The dichotomy of control is the ultimate key to peace. Not because it solves your problems, but because it shows you which problems are actually yours, and which ones you've been borrowing unnecessarily. You've been carrying other people's emotions, other people's choices, other people's consequences. You've been trying to fix what you didn't break, trying to control what was never your responsibility. What if you put it down? Just for a moment, just to see what it feels like to only carry what's actually yours. Your choices, your responses, your character. Nothing more. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. Not political freedom. Inner freedom. The freedom that comes from wanting nothing you don't have, from controlling nothing you can't control, from accepting what is. This sounds passive to people who haven't tried it. But it's the most active thing you can do. You're choosing your response. You're directing your energy. You're taking full responsibility for the only thing you actually control, you. The world will keep being unpredictable. People will keep disappointing you. Plans will keep falling apart. None of that changes. What changes is how much of yourself you lose in the chaos. What changes is your peace. You stop saying, why is this happening to me? You start saying, this is happening. What can I control? You stop being a victim of circumstances. You start being a participant in your own life. Epictetus was asked what the fruit of his philosophy was. He said, tranquility, fearlessness, freedom. Not because life got easier, but because he stopped fighting battles he couldn't win. He focused on the war within. The war within is the only war that matters. The battle between what you want reality to be and what reality actually is. Between resistance and acceptance. Between control and release. This is where peace lives. Or dies. So here's the practice. When you feel anxious, angry, or overwhelmed, ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? Is it within my power? If yes, make a plan. If no, let it go. It's that simple and that hard. You'll forget, you'll slip back into old patterns, you'll try to control the uncontrollable again. That's okay. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. A little more awareness each day, a little less suffering each week. Epictetus said we're disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them. Change the view, change the disturbance. You can't change the weather, but you can change how you dress for it, how you move through it. The ultimate key to peace isn't out there. It's not in the perfect circumstances, the perfect relationship, the perfect outcome. It's in the line you draw between what you hold and what you release, between effort and surrender. Draw that line clearly. Know where your power lives and where it doesn't. Spend your energy wisely. Love deeply, but don't try to control hearts. Work hard, but don't demand outcomes. Show up, but don't carry the world. This is the psychology of people who've learned to let go. Not because they don't care, but because they care about the right things. The things within their control. The things that actually respond to their effort, their mind, their will, their peace. And when you finally understand this, really understand it, something remarkable happens. You become unshakable, not because nothing bothers you, but because you know what's yours to carry and what belongs to the wind.